Good day, everyone. For today's discussion, we will be focusing on combat training for Individual Soldiers 1. Before anything else, here are your reporters: Cadet Japeth Ogdoc, Cadet Rheyjie Taghap, Cadet Kurt Saliot, and Cadet Celric Tanudtanud. To give you an overview of this discussion, here is the outline. First, we will be talking about training that involves day and night movement. Next, cover and concealment that involves cover and concealment during day and night. Next, the checklist. And lastly, formation. We will be discussing about the basic unit formation, combination formations of 9 men.
Good day, everyone. Good day, sir. I'm Cadet Ogdoc. Today I'm going to report all about training. In day training, there's a 3 topics that I'm going to discuss. A. Factors to be considered. B. Techniques and aids. C. Individual movement. There's 3 factors to be considered: the terrain, security, and knowledge. In terrain, it's suitable to fast movement and provide adequate security. For security, it use all available cover and concealment and provide good observation points. For knowledge, in the use of camouflage and concealment. These 3 factors that needed to be considered in day training are critical factors in achieving training effectiveness. Techniques and aids. Number 1, prepare and equip. Number 2, tape or pad any parts of weapon and equipment that rattles when walking. Number 3, wear soft, well-fitting clothes. Number 4, carry only prescribed and necessary equipment. Number 5, move by bounce, halt, listen, and observe. Number 6, change direction slightly from time to time. Number 7, remain in position and observe briefly after alarming birds and animals. Number 8, follow the furrows when crawling over a plowed field. Number 9, cross roads and trails where there is moss cover and concealment. Now, let's talk about individual movements. As you seen in the picture, there's a person crawling. Crawl means a move close to the ground to avoid being seen by the enemy. In a combat situation, there's a so-called military crawl. It can be life-saving maneuver since staying as close to the ground as possible gives you the lowest chance of getting hit by a straight bullet. The military crawl is more likely a muscle-busting maneuver. There's 2 types of crawl, the high crawl and the low crawl. For the high crawl, A. It cover and concealment are available in the area. B. When poor visibility, reduce enemy observation. C. When speed is needed. For the low crawl, A. Cover and concealment are scarce or few. B. When visibility permits good enemy observation. C. When speed is not needed. High crawl versus low crawl. In the low crawl, it gives you the lowest silhouette. Use it to cross place where the concealment is very low and enemy fire or observation prevents you from getting up. Keep your body flat against the ground with your firing head. Grasp your weapon sling at the upper sling swivel. Let the front handguard rest on your forearm, keeping the muzzle off the ground, and let the weapon butt drag on the ground. And for the high crawl, it lets you move faster than the low crawl and still gives you a low silhouette. Use this to crawl when there is a good concealment but enemy fire prevents you from getting up. Keep your body off the ground and resting on your forearms and lower legs. Cradle your weapons in your arms and keep its muzzle off the ground. Keep your knees well behind your buttocks so your body will stay low. Now, let's talk about the second type of individual movements, the prone to rushing. So, how to do the prone to rushing? A. Start from the prone position. B. Slowly raise your head and select your next position. C. Slowly lower your head back. Draw your arms into your body, keeping your elbows down and pull right leg forward. D. With one movement, raise your body by straightening the arms. E. Spring to your foot, stepping up your body by straightening the arms. New position using the shortest route, crouching low in a zigzag way. Now, for the third type of individual movements, the dropping. So how to do the dropping? First, just before hitting the ground, plant both feet. Second, drop to knee at the same time, sliding your hand to the heel of the butt of the rifle. 3. Pull forward, breaking your fall with the butt of the rifle by individual rushes or by team rushes. After the day training, there's also the night movement. In night movement, there's three topics that I'm going to discuss. A. Principles of night vision. B. Techniques of night vision. C. The problems. There's three principles of night vision. The dark adaptation, the off-center vision, and the scanning. Dark adaptation means allowing your eyes to become accustomed to low level of illumination. Off-center vision. This technique in keeping your attention focused to an object without looking directly at it. For scanning, it uses off-center vision to observe an area of an object. The original purpose of night vision was to locate enemy targets at night. It is still used extensively by the military for that purpose, as well as for navigation, surveillance, and targeting. Police and security often use both thermal imaging and image enhancement technology, particularly for surveillance. Hunters and nature enthusiasts use NVDs to maneuver through the woods at night. Now, let's talk about the techniques in night vision. A. Avoid straightening your eyes. B. Sudden light destroy our night vision. C. Adapt your seeing at night vision. Prepare your eye for night vision by staying in the darkness 1 hour before you go out. The muscles in the human eye have the ability to stretch or contract automatically, depending upon the intensity of light falling on the eye. When we go out the bright sunlight, the pupil gets contracted. Alternatively, when we enter a shaded or dark room at that time, the muscles of eye relax and make the aperture of the eye lens big enough to allow sufficient amount of light pass through. Therefore, the objects in the room appear blurred. Because of this, human eye have limitation. The muscles of eye cannot increase the aperture indefinitely. Therefore, in full light, we are unable to see the objects because the image cannot be formed on the retina clearly. The capability to detect and identify targets at night and under poor visibility conditions has been an essential military equipment. Now, let's move to the problems with night vision. A. Night vision. Adapt in seeing at night by enlarging the pupil in order to let in more light. Keep cut of light around you and do not look straight to light. B. Appearance and size. Number 1. Trees look smaller because tips and twigs of branches cannot be seen. Number 2. Night glasses make it possible to see the objective world too small. Number 3. Light is visible at night ordinary condition. C. Sound and smell. Number 1. Learn to identify, evaluate, and react to common battlefield noises and the common sound in your area of operation. Number 2. Sound can be heard better at night. Number 3. Sound can prevail your presence to the enemy. Number 4. Smells can help or endanger you. 5. Number 5. Learn to operate and adjust equipment by touch alone. D. Concealment at night. Number 1. Darkness provide concealment at night. 2. Keep all light concealed. 3. Take advantage of the blinding effects of the burst of light. 4. Use camouflage to hide yourself in darkness. And 5. Pay as much attention to the background at night. E. Rules of night movement. Number 1. Move by touching distance. 2. Be guided on the prominent terrain features. 3. Move in open as much as possible. 4. Take advantage of the sound. 5. Do not run at night except when necessary. 6. Stop and listen frequently. F. How to move at night. Number 1. Walking at night. Keep weighing in one foot as you step. Feel the ground with your toe before stepping it down. Number 2. Hitting the ground at night. Going into prone position at night, crouch slowly and both rifle under armpit and feet the ground with free hand. Number 3. Crawling at night. Crawl on hand and knees. Then lay rifle on the ground by your side. Keep hand on the spot and bring forward knees. It meet the hand. With hands feel the ground for the knees. Then clear again the spot for other knees to the same way and alternately and silently. G. How to know your position. 1. Always keep track on where you are and the directions to other places in the area. 2. Use terrain features to keep direction at night. 3. Choose a route that can be easily followed. 4. When moving at night, stop often. And 5. Maps and compass are good aids in maintaining directions. H. Security at night. Number 1. Know the challenge and password. 2. Use the body system. And 3. Proper use of counter, sign, and call sign. So that's all for the night movement.
Let us now move into the next part of this discussion, which is cover and concealment. During war, losing our lives is the most difficult to happen. Nobody wanted to die, but sometimes situation demands to risk our lives. You need to have precautionary measures that this misfortune be prevented to happen. We have to have some tactics to protect ourselves from the enemies. And one of those protections are cover and concealment. Let us first define what is cover. Cover is a protection from enemy fire. It may be natural or artificial. Natural cover includes ravines, hollows, river slope. And artificial cover includes foxholes, trenches, walls, rocks, etc. These covers protect you from a high-angle fire and the effects of nuclear explosion. It is important to remember that you need to have cover when you need it the most. Form the habit of looking for and taking advantage of every bit of cover the terrain offers. Also, it is important to combine this habit with proper use of movement techniques. Now, what is concealment? Concealment is the protection from enemy observation. Just like cover, it may be natural or artificial. Natural concealment is provided by the surrounding or natural features such as trees, leaves, grasses, bushes, shadows, and others. On the other hand, artificial concealment is a man-made material such as nets. It is important to remember that concealment is not a protection from enemy fire. It is not the same with cover. Do not make the mistake of believing that you are protected from enemy fire merely because you are concealed from enemy's eyes. There are two ways of concealing yourself. First is to avoid unnecessary movement, and second, use available concealment. Now let us first discuss the first one. Avoid unnecessary movement. You need to remain still because movement attracts attention. You may be concealed when still, yet easily detected if you move. Remember that movement against a stationary background causes you to stand out clearly. When you change positions, you need to move carefully over a concealed route to the new positions. The second way of concealing yourself is through the use of available concealment. Remember these points. Background is important. It will help you hide yourself from the enemy. However, it is vital to note that you have to blind it to prevent enemies from using it against you. Trees, bushes, grass, earth, and man-made structures forming your background vary in color and appearance. So, it is important for you to choose your background wisely. Select trees and bushes which blend with your uniform and absorb the outline of your fatigue. Next point to remember is that shadows help hide you. Shadows are found under most conditions of day and night. Just like background, it will also help you to be less noticeable from the enemy. Next, stay low to observe. Observe from a crouch, a squat, or the prone position so that you present a low silhouette. Next important thing to remember is that expose nothing that shines. Reflection of light on a shiny surface instantly attracts attention, including your enemies, and can be seen from great distances. Also, remember to keep off the skyline. Figures on skyline can be seen from great distance, even at night, because a dark outline stands out against the lighter sky. The silhouette formed by your body makes a good target, so you will be more susceptible to be killed. Lastly, you need to keep quiet. It is already self-explanatory because noise such as talking can be picked up by enemy patrols or listening posts. So if you are noisy, then you will be easily heard by the enemies. To be more specific, let us now discuss the concealment during daytime and nighttime. During daytime, you need to remain motionless while you are observing. Movement can attract the enemy attention even at a distance. You need to disperse your men, vehicle, and equipment reasonably. Observe from prone position and always at the base of an object. And lastly, avoid lone stress, fences, and other prominent landmarks since these spots are easily picked out as targets by the enemy observers. During nighttime, before moving out, it is advisable for the members to stay in a dark place for about 1 hour to prepare your eyes from night vision. You need to learn to judge the actual appearances and sizes of the objects in the dark. It is important to remember not to look at objects for too long, but only merely glance at them to avoid straining your eyes. Do not expose any light when moving, such as luminous watches, compass, smoking, and others. You also need to have sound discipline. Stop frequently to listen. During nighttime, sounds are highly discernible, so be cautious and be vigilant with suspicious noises. It might be from your enemies. You need to move in absolute silence, just like what I've said earlier, that sounds are highly discernible. You need to move by bounds to positions you have determined in advance. Lastly, during nighttime, leave personnel behind who might compromise the mission. Now, let us discuss about a type of concealment popularly known as camouflage. Let us know some of the important details and important points to remember for us to camouflage ourselves better from the enemy. Camouflage consists of the measures you take to conceal yourself, your equipment, and your positions from enemy observation. You may use natural or artificial materials. Remember these rules. Take advantage of all available natural concealment. Alter the form, shadow, texture, and color of the object. Then, camouflage against ground and air observation. Camouflage your position as you prepare for it. Study the terrain and vegetation in the area. Arrange grass, leaves, bushes, and other natural materials you use to conform to the area. For example, do not expect tree branches stuck into the ground in an open field to provide effective camouflage. You need to alter them, you need to rearrange them in a way that benefits you to conceal yourself. Obtain your natural materials over a wide area. Do not strip an adjacent area of a spoilage because such buried areas attract enemy attention. Use only as much materials as needed. Excessive use of materials, natural or artificial, can reveal your position. Dispose of excess soil by covering it with leaves and grass, or by dumping it under bushes, into streams, or into ravines. Piles of fresh dirt indicate an area is occupied and reduce effectiveness of camouflage. After your camouflage is complete, inspect it from an enemy viewpoint. Check often to ensure it remains natural looking and it actually conceals your position. If it does not look natural, rearrange it or replace it. Practice concealment discipline. The best camouflage fails to provide concealment if it tracks lead to your position or if cans and boxes are scattered about. So, it is important for you to practice this discipline because every man in your unit shares this responsibility. The third important thing you need to remember about concealment is that equipment must blend with natural background. Remember that vegetation changes color with the season. Your web equipment pack, belt, and canteen cover blends with most terrain unless it is badly faded. If faded, color it and blend with the surrounding terrain. If no paint is available, use mud, charcoal, or crushed grass. Remember to paint in bold. Alter the distinctive silhouette of your helmet with a cover made of cloth or burlap colored to blend with the terrain. Let spoilage stick over the edges to alter the outline, but do not use too much. If material for cover is not available, disguise and dull the surface of your helmet with irregular patterns of paint or mud. Use mud or dirt to dull the shiny surface of your weapon. Be careful, however, to keep the working parts clean so that your weapon will function properly. Remember to dull the shine of the bayonet. Wear a snowsuit and color your equipment while when operating against a background of unbroken, snow-covered terrain. The next important thing you need to remember about camouflage is that your field and work uniforms also blend well with most terrain, unless they are badly faded, just like your equipments. If your uniform is faded, camouflage it with mud, soot, or paint or dye. Lastly, in doing camouflage, it is important to remember that exposed skin reflects light and attracts the enemy's attention. Even very dark skin will reflect light because of its natural oil. So that is why you can see from militaries that they would sometimes use face paint to conceal themselves. Camouflage face paint sticks are issued in 3 standard two-tone sticks as follows: loam and light green for light-skinned troops, sand and light green for dark-skinned troops, loam and white for all troops in snow-covered terrain. In using face paint, you need to paint the shine area like the forehead, the cheekbone, the nose, and the chin with a dark color. And that is all about cover and concealment. Let us now proceed to the next topic.
Moving on the checklist on combat training for individual soldier. The following guidelines are crucial for the soldiers who are engaging in combat in order to protect themselves from the opponent. We have here 4 checklists in preparing the soldiers. First, individual camouflage. Second, knowledge testing. Third, movement by day. Fourth, movement by night. And lastly, occupation of the area. Individual camouflage. For soldiers in a combat field, camouflage is very important as it helps them blend in the environment without the enemy's notice. Concealment is anything that hides an individual, his position, unit, or equipment from the enemy observation. There are many ways to conceal the soldier. We have here a natural concealment that includes such things as bushes, grass, trees, and shadows. If possible, natural concealment should not be disturbed, otherwise it would be prone to visibility. Second type of concealment is man-made concealment, which includes such things as battle dress uniforms, camouflage nets, face paint, and natural material that has been moved from its original location. Second, knowledge testing. Before engaging in combat, it is a necessity to test every soldier's knowledge. They should know what is concealment, as we have discussed previously, and they should know also what is cover. Moving on to the 8 tips. Number 1, avoid unnecessary movement. A soldier should avoid unnecessary movements or it will draw attention to the enemy. Second, use all available concealment. We have here the natural concealment and as well as the artificial. It is a must to use all available concealment. Take note, not everything works, so try as many concealments as much as a soldier can. Third, stay low to the observer. Fourth, expose nothing that shines. Shiny objects draw attention. Fifth, keep off the skyline. Sixth, alter familiar outline. Seventh, keep quiet. Just like with avoid unnecessary movement, a soldier's main goal is to avoid drawing attention from the opponent. And lastly is blend with the background. This is concealing and camouflage, blend with the environment. Movement by day. The soldier should know the movements in combat during the day. Take note that movements during the day is different during the night. This is an adaptation of the squat combat formation from previous lectures. Passing through obstacles, squad column. This formation was already discussed before, so everyone should know by now about it. When soldiers are passing through obstacles such as low wire, vertical walls, culverts, logs, minefields, bridges, and roads, the squad column formation is performed. Second, passing through open terrain, squad line. This formation is best when soldiers passing through open terrains. Since open terrains makes the soldier vulnerable, prone, or defenseless to attacks, the following movements can be applied: high crawl, rushing from prone, dropping to prone, and low crawl. Movement by night. Movements during the night is different during the day. Number 1, open terrain nighttime. Squad line. This formation is similar or almost identical during daytime open terrain operations. Squad line is the formation during this period. We have here walking, flare air burst, the soldiers should remain motionless, and flare ground burst or drop to prone. Second, forested area nighttime. When soldiers are operating in a forested area, it is safer and less vulnerable compared to open terrains. So for this environment, we have here walking, halt when noises are located, and pass the word. The last in the checklist for combat training of individual soldier is occupation of the area. Soldiers should know also about the occupation of the area. We have here number 1, harboring. In daytime, the clock system, and in nighttime is modified column. Second is withdrawal to rallying point.
Basic unit formation. Combat formations 9 men. Training in combat formations teaches the soldier the basic maneuvers that his squad and platoon use in combat. Teamwork is essential in the military unit from squad through army. As an athletic team practices its plays for a game, the military unit practices its formations for battle. Perfection in standard combat formations enables any infantry soldier, whenever he was trained, to adopt quickly and efficiently a correct formation to fit any battlefield situation. General instruction in combat formations follows the soldier the basic maneuvers that his squad and platoon use in combat. General, the rifle squad is organized for combat into 2 fire teams, ALFA and Bravo. The rifle squad combat formations are the squad file, squad column, and squad line. The squad column is the basic formation from which the others are derived. When the weapon squad moves as part of the platoon, it usually moves in column formation. When moving as part of the platoon, the initial squad combat formation may be selected by the platoon leader. The squad leader may alter his formation to meet changes in the situation and terrain. The squad leader places himself within the formation where he can best exercise control. The fire team leaders place themselves in the designated formations as directed by the squad leader. Other members of the squad take their appropriate positions based on the location of the fire team leader or as he directs. The squad leader controls the squad by oral commands, audible battlefield signals, arm and hand signals, and through his fire team leaders. The squad maintains observation to the front, rear, and flanks. While moving or halted, squad members are responsible for observing indefinite directions. The distances between men within a formation vary, depending on visibility and terrain. While maximum dispersion is desirable to reduce vulnerability to direct and indirect fires, effective control must be maintained. When visibility is good, formations are more dispersed. During conditions of reduced visibility or in close terrain, distances between men are reduced. In selecting or modifying squad formations to conform to a particular situation, or because of reduced strength, the following fundamentals generally apply. 1. Fire team integrity is maintained. 2. The fire team leader is located so as to facilitate control of the fire team, especially in its employment. 3. The squad automatic weapons are located within each fire team to provide fire to the front, rear, and flanks of the squad. 4. When changing from one combat formation to another, the automatic weapons should be required to move the least distance. Changing from one combat formation to another is accomplished without halting the squad, following the above as a guide. Static organization of the squad. NR1 Squad Leader. NR2 Alpha Team Leader armed with an M16 rifle. NR3 Automatic Rifleman armed with a radio and M60 rifle. NR4 Grenadier armed with an M203 rifle. NR5 Rifleman armed with a 14 or sniper of the team. NR6 Bravo Team Leader armed with an M16 rifle. NR7 Automatic Rifleman armed with a radio and M60 rifle. NR8 Grenadier armed with an M203 rifle. NR9 Rifleman armed with a 14 or sniper of the team. Combat formation of squad. Column, modified column, squad line, squad file. Column. 1. Squad columns is used for moving through woods, defile, smoke-screened areas, darkness, or along trails when the control and speed in movement is the governing factors. Friendly fires to the front is limited but is good to the flanks. Enemy fires from the front may enfilade the column. Distances between men may be increased or decreased while the men may be staggered to the right and left. Modified column. Squad modified column is used for moving over terrain whose visibility do not limit the deployment of the squad. It provides good dispersion and all-around security and is specially suitable for situation where immediate action in any direction is required. Squad line. Squad line is the basic assault formation for the squad. It is also suitable for mapping up enemy resistance and crossing short open terrain or exposed areas. It provides maximum fire to the front but it is the most difficult formation to control. Squad file. Squad file is used for moving over terrain so restricted that the squad cannot adopt the column formation, and when visibility is so reduced that control becomes extremely difficult. This formation offers the same advantages and disadvantages as the squad column. Elementary fire and maneuver. The 9-9 man rifle squad is organized into a squad fire team, each with a leader to assist the squad leader in the control and supervision during the tactical movement. Fire Team Alpha is controlled and supervised by number 2, and Fire Team Bravo is controlled and supervised by number 6. When action is to the right, fire support mission is performed by Fire Team Alpha, while the fire support mission is performed by Fire Team Bravo, and vice versa when the action is to the left. In frontal attack, Fire Team Alpha performed the maneuver role, supported by Fire Team Bravo. In all actions and maneuvers performed by the squad, the fire support group continues to close with the enemy, joining the maneuver group as soon as its fires are masked, to participate in the assault and the consolidation of the objective. 7. Fire Support Element. The fire support element assists the maneuver element in its advance towards the enemy position by engaging all known or suspected enemy targets with fire. It continues to fire until masked by the maneuver element. 8. Maneuver Element. The mission of the maneuver element is to close with and destroy or capture the enemy. It advances toward the enemy position under the close fire support of the fire support element.